Welcome to the show, everybody. Joseph Robert Camo, the fantasy football counselor, online here in the studio with Tim, aka the Bald Man. What's happening, Tim?
Not much. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
We are talking about must-have wide receivers this episode, complimentary to last week's Monday episode where we talked about must-have running backs. So go back and check that out. Tim, are you hyped up? Are you ready? Fantasy football is almost here. We're about 3 weeks out. There's been some preseason. How excited are you?
I'm ready to go. I mean, the preseason games so far, we're only into like the second week. We had the Steelers go a couple weeks ago. Najee not getting much work so far, but I think that's because they're really comfortable with him. I'm not scared about it. I wish I could see more and get a better gauge on it. But hey, it is what it is for now.
It's frustrating watching certain games and the quarterbacks aren't starting. You don't see any Justin Herbert. You didn't see any Baker Mayfield. You see some of these rookies come out. Trevor Lawrence having a decent performance. Justin Fields with the Bears having a decent performance. Some of these guys having some decent performances. But again, there's a lot to be thirsting for. We're not getting to see some of the players that we want. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, guys like that. The big names just not out to play yet.
Well, yeah, because they know that those guys they're on the team. They've made it. They don't have to show anything. We know they know the playbook. They're good to go. That's why we don't see them. So it makes sense. It's just, we want to get a better feel for it.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of them. So listen, Tim, we actually have a new giveaway today from Pristine Auction. We got announced last week's giveaway, last week's winner for the signed Ridley jersey, and the winner is Cam Smith. I've DM'd.
Sorry, did you just say Tim Boyer?
No, Cam Smith.
Tim Boyer,
Too bad, Tim.
You know my address. Just send it here. It's good.
You cannot win, Tim. It's Cam Smith.
Damn you.
We've DM'd you back. We've replied back to your comment on the last video. So go check it out, guys, on the must-have running back video last Monday. Replied back to you. Email us at joe@ffcounselor, and we'll get you all set up. We're going to have to verify you as well. I'll tell you guys how to do that later. I'll email you
pictures of your mom.
Yes. We
scantily dressed.
We need some identification, Cam. So listen, the winner is Cam Smith for the Ridley, but now we've got a new jersey. It's a Jonathan Taylor signed jersey, compliments of Pristine Auction. To enter, head on over to pristineauction.com. And guys, very simple. Use promo code SWAGLION when you sign up. There's also a link here below on YouTube. Use promo code SWAGLION when you sign up. You're entered. Then you got to comment below. Just comment JT or Jonathan Taylor. Then we know you signed up, but you have to. I'm going to cross-reference, guys. So it's not like, hey, we're going to find out if you actually signed up. So we're going to cross-reference that. So make sure you guys, Pristine Auction SWAGLION is the code. And comment below. Tim, Jonathan Taylor jersey now. Can you believe it?
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's some good ones, man.
That's what I want. And then there's a third one next Monday, so make sure you guys tune in Monday for that. So, guys, also, manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. Get yourself an amazing trimmer. They've got amazing ball wipes. They've got underwear. They've got great products, skin-safe technology, navigational light, Lawnmower 3.0 in my hand, Lawnmower 4.0 there behind me. Tim, they've got great products. Manscaped.com. Use promo code SHOWERLION. And finally, get the 16-round draft solution. Linked it below. Dominate your drafts. Get it below, guys. First ever only video training, sleepers, breakouts, everything you need, mock drafts, everything there. 16 rounds to get it below. And that's it for plugs, man. All important plugs. We have to get it out.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a lot.
We got to get paid, people, okay? Yes, we love to help you. We got to get some pay.
Yeah, we got to make a living off this because Tim has to, he has to buy more of those creepy paintings in the back. You want to show everybody, Tim?
I need to get hair plugs. I need a lot of work, okay? So you guys got to really buy crap.
Can you show everybody the creepy
Oh, man,
painting?
I thought we were saving this until I could really do it, but
that is creepy. Now, Tim, this is Tim's living room or his living quarters.
I don't ever turn the light on, to be honest with you, but when you do and it's super dark, her eyes are just really blue and reflective, and it's creepy.
Very, very haunted. Very, very haunted. If you guys are haven't seen this, if you're in the car, go watch it on YouTube. Very, very creepy painting in the background there. All right, Tim, let's go into wide receiver must-haves. And I guess you've got a list. I'm going to be talking about some wide receivers I must have. And I got to say, there really isn't any wide receivers I must have because there's so much value at wide receiver. And I'm just not investing a first-round pick on a Diggs or a Hopkins or
right. And that's kind of where I'm going with this again. I am giving you the top picks. If I'm going to take a wide receiver in the first or second round, even these would be my guys in order. However, There is a lot of value in those mid rounds around the 4 to 6, 4 and 5, especially. You could still pick up some amazing wide receivers at those numbers.
Right, exactly. So I'm waiting on wide receiver. Now, I have been doing a bunch of mock drafts, and the way that it kind of falls, it's like, let's say you get a running back end of round one. Let's just say you get a Najee or Jonathan Taylor or someone like that. Come round two, some of the pickings at running back are kind of slim. I'm not really crazy on Antonio Gibson, not over the moon crazy about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And those are typically your second round running backs where I'm almost like tempted to maybe even get a Ridley in round two. So go running back, Ridley, and come back and maybe get a Jacobs or Montgomery round three, because I'm still going to get an ace wide receiver. So the temptation is there to kind of get maybe a Ridley in round two, or maybe if a Diggs falls to round two, maybe combo him with a running back. So there's that temptation, but I kind of avoid that temptation because, again, there's so much depth at the wide receiver position.
There is, but I guess you got to feel it out. Like you say, depending on how the draft's going, if running backs are flying off the board, you might want to grab a good running back in one. And then if you've got an early pick in two, yeah, grab one of these really good wide receivers.
Right. All right. So do you got a must have for us, Tim?
Yeah, so once again, this is going to be me in order. If I'm taking a wide receiver first pick, whatever, second pick even, this is going to be it. So I am actually saying Stephon Diggs is going to be my top dog.
I like him. I like him a lot. That's one of the guys. I still don't think he's hit his ceiling. I still think there's more in the tank. Now you can say, well, Joe, he's definitely hit his ceiling. Definitely hit his ceiling. 166 targets. How do you top that? But listen, like, he's still talented. I still think he's building that rapport with Josh Allen. 8 touchdowns last year. I think that can go up. Now, again, with yardage, again, number one in yardage, 1535. Number one in targets. So how can that go up? I still think he's hungry. I still think he's got that drive, man. I think Josh Allen still has some room to grow. I still think he still has a good year.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's kind of why I put him as my number one. I still think he's got a little bit more he can go up. I mean, if you look at last year's finishers, the top two guys had 18 and 15 touchdowns, and then you got Diggs at 8. So all he needs to do is add a few more of those, continue on the pace that he had, improve just a tiny little bit, and he's right there, man.
Yeah, I love the upside, love the talent, and the work ethic is really second to none. I know how hard this guy works, so I'm excited.
And let's face it, he is the top dog there. There's no challenger at all.
Absolutely. That's another good point. There isn't that Julio Jones beside him or someone like that could steal the volume. So definitely a must have. If you do decide to go early, he's a guy that I think you must have. I got one here. Now his ADP is amazing. Like, I just like the value that I get him for. I can get him, he's come off as early as the third. That's a bit of an early thing. I think he comes off more from 4 to 5, depending. But the guy I'm talking about is Deontay Johnson. Now he's sitting 24th on the consensus rankings in standard. He's a little higher in PPR, so about 20th in PPR. Okay. I just think the sky's the limit. This guy had some dropping issues last year. He looked good in preseason, and Big Ben wasn't even throwing the ball. We know Big Ben throws more than anybody else. I can get this guy as my wide receiver one. And yes, you could say Juju is there, Claypool's there, and I get it. But I just think that he's going to be the guy there. I really feel that Deontay is going to be the guy. I get him as my wide receiver 1, 2, and I still think he eats just based on volume and Big Ben being there. He's a must-have for me. I like Deontay a lot.
Okay, you're doing it again, though. You're saying his ADP is 20th. It's 20th amongst wide receivers. It's 50th overall. I hate you.
We got to clarify.
No, you got to say overall, especially when we're talking draft season. You don't want people getting confused. He is ranked
I always
50.
speak among wide receivers. I usually say that, but I like to speak amongst wide receivers. He's 20th, which puts him around rounds
50th overall. Yeah, but he's 50th overall. So that puts you late 4, early 5.
Yeah. I see him come off earlier usually when I do mock drafts, but yeah, that's typically
anything can happen, man. I mean, you don't know, but this is his ADP. It's right around the 50 mark.
Exactly. And that's where DJ Moore is coming off. And if you say DJ Moore or Deontay, I'm all over Deontay. But yeah, you're right. 3 is a little early for him. Again, I tend to be in like competitive leagues, and these guys just go really fast. So, it's weird, man, especially when you're a 12-person league or 14-person league. They come off a little earlier. But yeah, Deontay Johnson, I've seen him come off as early as 3rd, but typically around 4 to 5.
Yeah, see, I think you can get much better value at those rounds than him even. Like, I'm looking at a Thielen in late 4, early 5. I'm taking Thielen just based on his last year, yes, he killed it in touchdowns, but he could even do so much more in yardage this year. So I'm all over him. Like, that's what I was going to say. I mentioned it earlier too. Like, mid to late rounds, there's some great guys there still.
I love Thielen, and the fact of the matter is that Thielen, you had him last year. What was he coming off, like second round?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
he
like,
didn't pay off for where he was really, with splitting with Jefferson, but still, his numbers were there. He didn't have the yardage, he had the touchdowns, so it balanced out. But I wanted more.
we were getting Jefferson 8th, 9th, 10th round. You're getting him for free. Now you're investing a second or third round pick on Jefferson. So give me Thielen all day, round 4, 5, 6.
Absolutely, man. That's the
All
way I
day.
see it too.
Another must have, great value.
Yeah.
Anyone else that you must have when you're looking at wide receivers? Like, oh man, that's great value. Got to have them.
See, I'm not talking value. Once again, I'm talking my top picks. These are guys. If I'm talking a must-have, I'm not going to talk a guy in the middle rounds because my must-haves are early. After that, it's a must-have if the price is right. So Stephon Diggs started it off for me. If he's gone and it's my pick, I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's the wide receiver 1/2 this year, meaning he's going to finish either first or second. I think he's there this year. Last year we talked about it. We thought the move to Arizona would hurt him. Didn't hurt him at all, man. I mean, he can improve a little bit more on his touchdowns and stuff like that as well. So let's just say he could easily be in that top 3, top 2 is my spot.
Yeah, you cannot argue Hopkins. I mean, he gets it done every single year, but you're going to have to pay for it, right? If you want those guaranteed numbers, you're going to have to pay for it. Definitely a must have if you are going wide receiver early. Cannot debate it. So, yeah, again, I'm looking at it differently. I'm looking at, kind of based on value. See, I don't really must have an early running back or a wide receiver because I go running back relatively early. So it's not like I must have them. But if I was going wide receiver, I definitely agree with you. We're not butting heads this episode as much because I like both Diggs and Hopkins. And if you are going wide receiver, they are must haves early on for sure.
You might not like my next one, but let's get another one out of you first.
Okay. So for me, again, going back to the value must have, it's just somebody I'm feeling like, for what I can get them for, like, why not? I just like the upside. And there's a bunch of these rookies. There's a bunch of them that I want to say that I want to must have. But the guy I'm talking about is Elijah Moore on the Jets. Now he's like 56th amongst wide receivers on the ranking. So I don't know where that puts you. I would say like 8th, 9th, 10th round, like you can get him for free. But what I like about him is he's already, I mean, I don't really believe what players and coaches say, but AJ Brown came out, said, man, this guy could be rookie of the year. He looks talented. He was relatively high draft capital by the Jets, and they've got a rookie Wilson there that, rookie quarterback that could feed him. And again, I'm not really sold on the wide receivers there for the Jets. I'm just not sold on Corey Davis being a guy like, years to wow me, Tim. And guess what? I'm not wowed. So
I wouldn't be sold on anything with the Jets. Let's put it that way. And if you're talking rookie receiver and rookie quarterback, I am really not sold.
It doesn't sound appealing on paper, but I'm getting Zach Wilson, who apparently has been training hard, looked okay in preseason, but he's really been training hard. He comes in at 6:30, leaves at 9:30, totally dedicated. And again, they've got Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, and Corey Davis, guys that have not wowed us. I think there's an opportunity for some volume there and huge value. So you are theoretically possibly getting a wide receiver one absolutely free that could be that Jefferson of this year. Elijah Moore is very appealing to me. He's a must-have based on value.
Good call, man. Yeah, he's like a 10th round pick. So yeah, for that value. And
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's
why
a
not,
ton
right?
of guys. There's a ton of guys. All I'm saying is, like, when you're talking fantasy football draft strategy, you can stack a bunch of these guys. You get a Jamar Chase, Elijah Moore, get yourself a Amon-Ra St. Brown on Detroit, right? Because they don't really have a wide receiver either. You stack a bunch of these guys, and yeah, they could all bust, but you might hit one or two. And I think you can hit one of these two guys. I really believe you can. But again, you could get yourself a Thielen and a Deontay relatively early, and then stack a bunch of these guys, and you'll be looking really pretty in the season. And that's what I'm saying. I just love the value at wide receiver this year. I love it.
Yeah, all you need is one of those really late guys to hit, and you're laughing because you're still going to pick up some good guys in the middle.
Absolutely love it.
Okay, my number 3, and I don't think you have a hate on for this guy, so I might be wrong, but Tyreek Hill would be my 3rd pick off the board.
I don't really have a hate on him, but I just find him from a game-to-game basis relatively volatile. I'm pulling up his numbers from last year. Now, if you
What
look at
what kills me with him is 66% is kind of what he's running at for catching. That's
yeah,
not really good for a top dog receiver, but he puts in a lot of touchdowns, so he makes up for it there.
yeah, I mean, it's between him and Kelsey, so he has to be contending with Kelsey. McCole Hardman is going to be the two here. But, you can't really complain about his numbers. He is very touchdown dependent. Like, if
hmm
you look at week 12, he had like 269 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he has those boom type of games. But if you look at week 6, what is it? 5.5 points. You look at week 16, 10.5 points. So he's got a couple duds in there. And again, that happens, but it's very rare. But again, he had a pinnacle year last year. Is that gonna decline this year? Possibly, but he's got Mahomes throwing to him. It's a tough one, man. Again, if you want him, you got to spend the early draft capital in him. And again, he's very touchdown dependent and sometimes volatile in games.
And he's on a great offense, which you might think, hey, if he's on a great offense, but he's on a great offense that has so many different weapons. They can go anywhere on the field, really. I mean, Mahomes can get it to anybody's hands and things can happen. So I'm looking for actually a slight regression in the touchdowns,
Yeah,
but I think he can make up for it by getting a few more receptions instead of dropping the damn ball.
yeah,
And then that equates to a little more yardage as well. So I think anything that he might lose, he's going to gain in other areas. So I'm kind of putting him right there where he belongs.
definitely. I mean, again, he's up there in the upper echelon of Stephon Diggs and Hopkins and guys like that. So now we should have done a show of wide receivers we must not have. But again, I just think guys like just want to go off on a tangent here, but Justin Jefferson and AJ Brown just really, really ranked high. Again, Jefferson coming off a 1,400-yard season. I don't know if he's going to duplicate that. So I just wanted to make a note of that. We talked about it a little bit. I'd rather have Thielen for value than Jefferson, but I just have to make a point of looking at these top guys, and I'm just like, AJ Brown, is there enough targets considering Ryan was 18th in passing attempts and Julio's there? Is he going to be a top 7, which is where he's being ranked amongst wide receivers in PPR? I don't know, a lot of question marks, Tim, with these early wide receivers.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, those ones there are a really good call because, yes, Jefferson had an amazing year. He outperformed Thielen in a lot of ways. However, Thielen was still the touchdown guy. And Thielen can just as easily get those receptions. So I think it all depends on how the game flow is going and who's working that day. So why would you put Thielen like 2 to 3 rounds below Jefferson? It just
Right.
doesn't make sense to me. If anything, I would be putting them at least comparable, but I still think Thielen is a better pick than Jefferson.
Right. Right. So again, like there isn't anybody I must have, but I'll give you another guy that's extreme value right now, and it's a bit of a coin toss, coin flip, but he's just a position that he's in is exciting. Sitting 50th amongst wide receivers, you get this guy for free. Is Michael Pittman. Now, Carson Wentz, there's talk of him coming back week 1. We saw Jacob Eason. We saw the other guy, what's his name? I can't even think of the other, Sam L, whatever, the backup, the third stringer there. My mind's not even working right now. But yeah, I mean, I think Wentz comes back anyway. But I'm thinking of Michael Pittman as a guy that you get for like immense value. Um, you
Yeah,
know,
he's probably going like late 8, early 9.
Yeah. Sorry, Sam Elinger is who I was thinking about here. The other guy, the other young guy. So either one of those guys can sling the ball. I don't know if it'll be as exciting as Wentz, but yeah, I mean, he's technically the wide receiver 1. You've got Paris Campbell, Pascal, T.Y. Hilton, all a bunch of question marks there. So Pittman's got to be the guy that steps up. Saw some highlight footage in training camp, made some nice plays. I mean, who knows? But all I'm saying is that he's a must-have because you're kind of theoretically getting a wide receiver 1 for absolutely free. Someone's got to catch the ball, Tim.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and at that price, it's a good option to take a shot. Why not? I mean, his numbers from last year don't wow me. Yardage was pretty good, but 40 receptions on 60 targets. So that's
Yeah,
once again, that's in that 66% range. It's good. It's just not enough to put you at that high level. So maybe second year, maybe he's a little more comfortable. He's ready to rock and roll.
yeah,
Why not? 9th round pick. Who cares?
exactly.
So
Um,
I will give you my 4th guy. This is pretty much where I'm going to end it because after that, I just said, you know what? Like we talked about, middle rounds, you got some really great value. My 4th pick would be Devontae Adams. Once again, his numbers were really high last year, especially in the touchdowns. And Tanyan was emerging. Tanyan is going to do even better this year. So we're not talking tight ends right now, But Tanyan is going to be a big one, man. He had a 88% reception rate.
But
That's
he's only getting
insane.
touchdowns, though. He's just a touchdown guy, Tanya.
No, dude, 88% reception rate. The guy's got amazing hands. He just needs to get the ball more, and I think he's going to get it this year.
Yeah, he can
I
catch
don't
the
think
ball.
he's not going to be Kelsey level, but he's going to be getting up there.
It's crazy. 59 targets, 52 receptions. So anything that was thrown his way, he just like a glue.
Yeah. So I think, he can easily take some of the touchdowns away from Devontae. That's why I've kind of moved Devontae down a little bit. He's fourth on my list still. He's definitely a very high wide receiver one. He missed 2 games last year even, or he would have had like 170 targets. He would have been right there with Diggs' numbers as far as yardage, receptions, touchdowns. He's way over Diggs. So I'm just saying, I think Tanyan steals a few of the touchdowns. I think Tanyan maybe even gets a few more of the receptions. But still, Devontae Adams, solid pick, man.
Well, something to note about him, again, I'm all about that. They had a pinnacle season, declines coming. He's played since 2014. He's only finished 2 complete seasons. He always misses 2-3 games, right? That's an issue. Coming off the Cinderella season, and Aaron Rodgers coming off a Cinderella season. I don't know, man. I think it's going to be a significant enough decline to bump him out his ADP and make him bust based on the ADP, meaning I think people will have wasted their first round pick. That's what I think. I think he'll be safe and solid if healthy, but that's a big question mark coming off that such a high season,
That's why I kind of moved him down at 4th. I mean, a lot of guys are putting him first off the board, and to me, that's just a little bit too high. I don't look at it the same way as you. He had the pinnacle. He's going to lose it. But yes, I already talked about it. His touchdowns were ridiculously high. That'll easily come down with a guy like Tanya there. And maybe even Jones picks up a few more this year. Who knows? Either way, solid pick. Early to mid second would be where I would want to take him. Am I going to get him there? Yeah, maybe sometimes. Other times, no. It all depends on how it goes.
Right. I'll give you one more here to wrap this up here. Again, make sure you guys go to Pristine Auction and use promo code SWAGLION when you sign up, and then comment below. Make sure you guys do that. But I got to talk about this guy because I can sometimes sneak and get him in the second round. Is Calvin Ridley, 143 targets last year. Now we know that obviously Julio Jones missed some time, so that opened things up for him. Calvin Ridley is primed to have a huge season. Theoretically, there isn't anybody else there. There's Russell Gage, and obviously Kyle Pitts could step up. But he sneaks to the second round, so he's tempting as a must-have after you've got a running back one to get him just based on situation. We know Matt Ryan, similar to Big Ben, throws more than almost anybody in the NFL. Coming off a bit of a down year, finishing 12th amongst quarterbacks. Maybe he's a little pissed off. He wants to, he's in the sunset part of his career. Ryan obviously wants to kind of end off on a high note. Ridley, young, talented, dynamic, touchdown monster, potentially. I'm kind of excited about this. I think that there's just based on a volume standpoint, you're looking at Ridley having a massive season. And to me, if I'm going early, he's another guy that I would consider in the second round if I can get him.
I'm actually a little bit afraid of this. I almost think this is an Antonio Juju sort of situation where now that Julio's gone, Ridley is going to be picked on. He's going to be double covered more. However, with Pitts, there's some unknowns, but man, this guy is supposed to be the big thing, right? So hopefully that all works out, and maybe he'll be the guy. He'll be the go-to. But I am a little concerned with Ridley. I would not be taking him that early. I just think there's, with Julio gone, can he handle the load? Can he take it?
That is a scary thing. And that is believe me, that's in the back of my mind as well. It's like a double-edged sword. So yes, you're getting the volume. You're getting that. There's no one else here. I can do it. Right. But then you're like, oh shit. Like he's got a big target on his back now. Like he's going to be seeing all the top corners. Is he going to be able to handle that? Is he that good? Is he?
Plus, their run game is ass, right? So you don't really have to worry too much about their run game. Now it's only the Ridley show, unless Pitts turns out to be this amazing player. But then he's going to get a lot of it.
There's no perfect storm, is there? Almost. It's like, you've got all the volume, me, and then it's like, oh shit, now I got to contend with all this bullshit. So
yeah,
it's a tough situation. And again, it goes back to why would I invest so early on a wide receiver? Again, we saw last year Michael Thomas busted. I keep going back to him as an example. Again, coming off that huge year, first round pick, top 6 pick, and then boom, busted. Right, and it happens a lot with wide receivers. You have the consistent guys. Like remember Antonio Brown years ago, he was just like every single year consistent, but that's an anomaly. Hopkins consistent every year. I think Diggs could fall into that category as long as him and he stays healthy and him and Allen are connecting. So I don't know. It's tough, but I just think there's so many wide receiver ones you can get later. We didn't talk about Cooper Cup, great value as well. Deontay,
Amari Cooper.
yeah, that's the thing, right? Let's talk about that real quickly here. Everyone's high on like CD Lamb. They've made him and pinned him as being the guy because he's the youngest guy. And there was this run last year. He had a bunch of good games. I'm just going to pull up his stats real quickly. I want to talk about the situation. So he had a couple good runs, couple good big games, like week 16 was big, weeks 4, 5. But then he had a couple dud games last year for CD Lamb. But when you look at the trio there, and with Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, and Lamb, you look at a guy who was theoretically the one last year, Amari Cooper, and he maxed out at 130 targets. So everybody ranking CD Lamb so high, like CD Lamb is number 12 right now, right? Very expensive for me, if you ask me. It's a three-headed monster, Tim. I'm not sold on one person emerging here.
Right, but that's why I like Amari Cooper in like the third, fourth round, something like that. So there's good value there, And yes, you've got some other receivers there, but still, there's nobody that's really stood out and said, I'm the top dog, I'm the one. Another situation I would keep an eye on is Lockett as well. Lockett and DK. I don't get it. I mean, they were pretty much neck and neck last year. What am I thinking? So these guys are going, or he is going. Sorry, Lockett is going early to mid fifth, and I believe DK is like second, third round, right? So there's a lot of value in that 4 to 6 range. Easily grab up these guys there. So this year especially, I'm kind of on board with you. Like go running back. Even third running back, maybe, or if you can get a Kelsey, but you're not going to get a Kelsey. No. Anyways, if you get one of those really top guys, either a really great wide receiver or a tight end in the third, I'd be very tempted to. And then I'm going to go wide receiver. Maybe my quarterback in 6 or 7 even. There's so much value in those middle rounds right now.
And typically with wide receivers, like, some of them, it takes them a while to get groomed or years. But I really think that there is a bunch of guys that could really be impact. Again, Monroe St. Brown, DJ, what's his name? I'm thinking DJ Moore, Elijah Moore. I'm talking about Jamar Chase. There's a Devontae Smith on the Eagles even, right? There's so much young talent. Jalen Waddle from Miami. So a lot of these guys are drafted very high, first, second round draft capital by these teams and are going into situations and depth charts where there really isn't a true wide receiver one or a really good person, like a good player there that's going to wow us. So some of these rookies, I think they'll surprise some people this year. It's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of wide receivers coming up.
Yeah, perfect, man. I love it. I love that you're throwing out some of those names, those late guys, like you say, on teams that are questionable. They don't have a true wide receiver one, and someone's got to fill those shoes.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Tim, that's it. Must have wide receivers, open discussion. Tim went a little bit higher. I went a little bit more value, and that's what it's all about, giving you the variety.
That's it. You guys decide what you want to do. Are you going wide receiver early? I've given you my picks. Joe's given you some great value, guys. And then we talked about it. Mid-rounds, there's some amazing value.
All right, guys, comment below, smash thumbs up, really helps the channel. Subscribe if you're new to the channel and get the 16-round drafts, which is at thefantasyfootballaccounts.com or linked it below. Tim, thanks for being here as per usual, man. We appreciate it.
Right on, brother. Happy to be here.
All right, guys, we are out. Smash that thumbs up.